To most of us, it's no longer a mystery to figure out how things happen in our lives. We all have experiences of events that we want and events that we don't want that appear in our lives. And I am sure that if I had to ask the majority of people why there are certain things that have appeared and certain things that haven't, they'd be able to tell me that there are things that they have done and things they haven't done. And that's why they have those outcomes or those results. So it's kind of clear the actions that you take and the actions that you neglect to take is what determines what pitches up in your life. What is not so clear is what determines the quality of those actions. In previous videos, we've spoken about your emotional state and that your emotional state is what determines the quality of your actions. So in other words, if you're acting from a place that is unresourceful, that means that you are contracted and overwhelmed, anxious. The likelihood is that you'll take poor quality action. On the other side, if you're in a resourceful, confident, empowered state, the likelihood is that you would take higher quality action, and therefore your results or outcomes will be commensurate. But what if I said to you that even your state is just a symptom as well? And what determines your state is your frequency. And in this context, what I mean with frequency is what is your baseline emotional home? For some people, it's about being angry. For some people, it's about being sad. For some people, it's about being anxious. And so the question is about what is your baseline vibration? Because it's frequency that determines whether people will sabotage. That's why they freeze. It's also why they continue to repeat all sorts of patterns that they don't enjoy. Because frequency will determine what your emotional home looks like, and also the territory that you live in. In other words, how has your brain been programmed? Or in other words, there's an aspect of yourself that we call your personality. Your personality, we could say, is the programming that you have around the way that you perceive the world that you live in. The question is, what does frequency really do? Your frequency will determine how you maintain relationships. It will determine how you hold boundaries and what boundaries you'll hold. It will determine what you will risk to feel safe. It will determine how you respond to pressure and ultimately what your life will become. Which means that in order to change your life, you need to change who you are. Not your behavior, not the emotions that you've got, but in order to change your frequency, you've got to change who you are, which means that's all about changing your emotional home. And when you change your frequency, there is a period of time when you're in between frequencies. When you start experiencing yourself at a different frequency, that's going to feel weird. That's going to feel strange. And it's normal to feel disconnected, ungrounded, almost like nothing matches anymore. And this isn't failure. This is you busy calibrating. Because in that space, you're no longer the old you. And you're not yet the next version of yourself either. Your habits feel unnatural. Your emotions feel too loud. Your relationships begin to shift. Your energy starts to swing between contraction and expansion. And most people believe this is where they're slipping back. But this is the moment when the change is solidifying. If you stay in the new frequency, even when it feels uncomfortable, your brain will start to rewire itself and slowly start to reconfigure to become the new you. And this is a birth of a new life for you, and it's built from frequency. So stop trying to change the outcome, your habits or your behavior, because those are just the shadows of what's really going on. Your frequency is everything. When it shifts, your life shifts. And this is how you change your life from the inside out. If you enjoyed this video or it touched you in any way, then drop a comment and be sure to subscribe if you would like to see more content like this. Next, we'll dive deeper into understanding how we can change our programming.